State Representative Carol Ammons is on the line with us. She is a state representative representing Illinois' 103rd District, running for re-election unopposed. State Rep Carol Ammons, AMMONS.com is her website. You can tweet her at State Rep Ammons. State Representative Ammons, first of all, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
You are pronouncing it correctly.
Great, thank you. Thanks for joining us from the DNC, from the DNC Radio Row. And I understand that one of your most passionate issues is criminal justice reform. Can you tell us about, and that's going to be one of the themes tonight. Can you tell us about that? Talk about that issue.
Yes. First of all, let me thank you for having me on. I listen to your show every chance I get.
Well, thank you.
I'm certainly honored to be on your show today, and thank you so much for informing the general public about these important issues. Criminal justice tonight is a theme of this DNC meeting tonight. I have been working on this. I am an activist. I'm a grassroots organizer, just like Bernie Sanders, one of the only state reps endorsed by Bernie Sanders in the state of Illinois. And so I've been working for the last almost 20 years on criminal justice reform in Illinois. Now, we know in Illinois we have a prison population that has exploded since 1970, just like many places in the country. But we've not had the criminal justice reform that we need to bring not only those numbers down, but to help people re-enter into our communities. And that's what I've been working on as a new legislator in the General Assembly. And I hope to be working on in the next few years. If people send me back, I think they will at this point. But we've seen just a staggering increase in the Department of Correction budget. Some $1.3 billion last year was spent in Illinois on prisons alone. $1.3 billion. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That we've decided that we would rather fund Department of Corrections than give people real educational opportunities to keep them out.
Right.
And so that's what I've been working on as a activist organizer from Champaign-Urbana. But as a legislator, we've already began working on new legislation that will address these things. One of them certainly is bail reform that I'll be working on in the next General Assembly session. Pre-trial reform we've done. Again, the problem in the state of Illinois is you just can't bail out. Most people cannot afford the $50, the $100 when they get arrested in our state. But we need to do bail reform so that people don't sit in prison in county jails around our state and lose their jobs, lose their houses, for things that can be resolved in a longer term process. So we're going to be working on those things in the next few months.
Where did bail originate? I mean, it seems to me like this is a system just designed to screw poor people. You know
what? I would have to say that the system that we currently has does exactly that. Unfortunately, bail is supposed to be to ensure that people return to court, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But it's become what we saw happening in Ferguson and other cities like Baltimore. It has become a revenue generator, and people are starting to be unable to bail out on simple charges because you have all these fines and fees that get tacked on, and unfortunately people are not able to make the cost of the bails. We also saw in Illinois where we had judges that were giving people bails that were never be met by those unfortunate people that got caught, and for whatever reason they cannot afford to make the bails that are being signed by these judges. And so I think it's the responsible thing for the legislature to take this on as a legislative issue and to give relief to poor people in our state, and if they need to go before our courts and our judges, make it a fair process for them to do that.
Just the whole concept of bail just seems, unless we're talking about, well, even if you're talking about a billionaire, I mean, how much bail are you going to charge, to ensure that a billionaire is going to show up? It seems like a stupid system. I don't know if you remember, it was probably a year or two ago. It was a big national story that this billionaire in one of the Scandinavian countries, my recollection is it was Denmark, got stopped for speeding, and he got a $54,000 traffic ticket because in that country they base the fine that you pay for speeding infractions as a percentage of your income. So he had like a $500 million income that year, so he got a $50,000 ticket. If he'd had a $50,000 income that year, he would have gotten a $10 ticket. And it's like, that seems a little more enlightened. I don't know, how far we're going to be able to go here in the United States, and I doubt that the billionaires will ever tolerate our finding them like that. But what are your thoughts on how bail reform should be done?
I think
general reform.
Well, general reform, my office is partnered with 3-day court and administrative offices of Illinois court system. We decided that we would work with the system in Illinois to simply reform the bail policies. We know poor people can't pay these things, but that is exactly how all of these court fees and fines get tacked on ultimately when they get out.
Right, it becomes debtor's prison.
Yeah, it's a debtor's prison, and we want to get rid of that system and make it a more fair system. Let me just say this. Our governor in Illinois, who is one of those billionaires, who doesn't pay his fair share, who refuses to give working people a living wage. This governor is probably sitting right now talking to our presumptive, at this point nominated RNC presidential candidate that I won't name on this radio show.
Because your governor is a Republican, by the way. I should toss that in. A lot of people may not realize that Illinois, generally a blue state, has a Republican governor, a billionaire who basically bought his way in. Pardon my interrupting you.
And he did buy his way in, which is why we have to be so careful about November 4th in this election. It is a very, very dangerous time for us to have 32 or 35 Republican governors in the United States. And on top of that, consider putting a open racist and demagogue in the White House. Can you imagine what will happen to communities across this country if that becomes a reality? So we're here working as a grassroots movement, to deal with the issues that we see happening in our communities. But we have to be realistic, right, on how we get there. And that's the stuff that we're working on here at the DNC. I'm a Bernie Sanders delegate, and am so thrilled with how Bernie has not only run his campaign, but how he's trying to bring people into the movement. And I think that's the most important thing we should be talking about right now.
Yeah. It seems to me that the key to bringing some kind of unity to the Democratic Party is kind of a twofold process, which is, number one, okay, if Hillary Clinton is our nominee, and it's virtually 100% certainty that she will be tonight, yes, that, let's make sure that we have a Democrat in the White House. Let's elect her. I mean, she's not terrible. Which is, I realize, damning with faint praise. But there's a lot of good things about Hillary Clinton, and there's a lot of good things about the Democratic platform. So number one. But number two, the revolution has to continue. I mean, this thing that Bernie has started has legs, and it's moving forward within the Democratic Party, which I find just tremendously exciting. I'm curious your thoughts on all that.
I'm so excited about it. I have to make the analogy of myself and Senator Sanders. When I ran for the state legislature in Illinois from the small community of Champaign-Urbana, University of Illinois town, people thought for sure that I had no chance. Can I say in hell on this radio show?
Yeah, you can.
No chance in hell to win the seat. Mm-hmm. Every single what they call knowledgeable Democrat was on the other side of my opponent in the primary, and I was considered the fringe lunatic, right? I was on the other side.
Because you were the out progressive.
I was the out progressive. I was very vocalized about it, and people thought for sure there was no way this lady, and I'm African American, I should say that. I don't know if your audience knows that, but I'm also African American coming from a non-majority minority district, right? And so people thought for sure there is no way that this woman, out progressive, who is speaking very vocally about these issues in the community. I'm an activist organizer. I don't have any money, and they said she will not win. I can tell you that we were out fundraised 10-1.
Wow.
But I won my primary 57% of the vote, and I won a general with a Republican that was very well funded.
Wow.
by 22 percentage points.
Wow, that's great. That's great, Representative Ammons.
I really believe that people are open to a progressive agenda. Now, do we get there tomorrow? No. But I do believe that as we push Hillary Clinton into the White House, we also bring this political revolution with us. Bernie made it very clear yesterday that this was not about a single election of a single person. This was truly about progressive ideas and issues that would move the country forward in a way that is not turning us into the Hunger Games or insurgent or divergent, but making us a truly, truly one nation under God. And this is something that I think we have something to look forward to, and not necessarily to be down on or be upset about. I think we can bring it together, and I think we will.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're talking with State Representative Carol Ammons, a Bernie-crat, running for re-election in Illinois, representing the 103rd District. And Representative Ammons, we have just 30 seconds left before we hit a break. Final thoughts for our listeners and viewers?
I just want to say that I'm so proud to be, I haven't heard the term Bernie-crat, but I am so proud to be one of them. We are going to have a People's Agenda unpacking meeting when I get back to Champaign-Urbana. And I want people to know in Illinois, if you want to hook up with me, I'm a progressive in Illinois. Connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just type in my name, Carol, C-A-R-O-L, Ammons, A-M-M-O-N-S. And join us for the revolution.
There you go. State Representative Carol Ammons of Illinois. Thank you so much for.
Thank you so much, Tom. I was very honored to be on your show.
It is an honor to have you with us, and this is how it begins. People running at the state level for political office. It's absolutely brilliant what you've done, Representative Ammons. And thank you again. We'll be back. It's 15 minutes before the hour.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.